Coming to you from that once-forgotten artery that pulses through the center of the continental United States and into the heart of the Ozarks, Grace Matthews. Looking in from the northern border, our Canadian friend, along with his countrymen feeling the effects of U.S. political issues, Connor Murphy.
Welcome to Dueling Dialogues, episode 184. I'm Connor Murphy here with Grace Matthews in Springfield, Missouri. Hi, Grace. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Absolutely great. It's a great day in the Ozarks. Perfect temperature. Beautiful outside.
Yeah.
Doesn't get much better than this.
Yeah, usually we have opposite weather, but it sounds like we've got the same weather today. That's for sure.
What a deal.
Yeah, we've even had rain this year, because usually it just rains all winter long and doesn't rain at all in summer. But, the grass is green here for a change.
We've had a lot of rain, that's for sure.
Yeah, most of the country.
I haven't had to water a lot of days, which
me
is
neither.
Nice.
Yeah, me neither. I actually had to water last night, though. That is only the second time I've watered this year.
That's about like me. I haven't had to water very much at all. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm loving it, and it's cool here.
Yeah, it's not as hot as it was.
Global warming here.
Yeah, it's funny. I seen I think it was a Maclean's article the other day saying that June was the hottest on record, and I'm like, what damn records are you looking at?
Yeah, I just am very skeptical about some of those. I mean, we've had like 10 hot days that were really hot. But the rest of the time we were running, I don't know, 15, as much as 15 to 20 degrees cooler.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding? I know how to do math. I can add it together and then divide it out and do the averages, and this ain't making sense.
Yeah, I mean, to sum up the weather this spring, the only thing outstanding about the weather was my nipples.
Oh boy.
All right, enough weather talk.
Yeah, we've talked enough about the weather. How about Comey? One of our favorite topics.
Yeah. Okay.
Jim Comey is back in our radar. He's been a little quiet with the word that the IG report was coming out.
Yeah, he's kind of like a herpy.
He disappeared, and then he's kind of reappeared again in the last 2 days.
Yeah, like a herpy.
I don't know, he took a little, exactly. He is exactly like the herpes. So anyway, but the IG report is starting to leak out.
Okay.
Several news agencies are reporting that Comey had a spy in the White House in 2017. Okay, that was reporting back to the FBI. This is proof positive to most people that this was a coup and that this was Comey's. This was the first thing. Okay, get this spy in there, right?
Right.
It'd be hard for me to believe, too, I just want to interject, that Rosenstein didn't know about this.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think that's going to be hard for him to say. So anyway, part 2 was the so-called insurance policy that we learned about through the lovers.
Right.
Here's the bad news. We may not be getting this IG report till September.
Oh. Huh.
Now, this was supposed to be out in May. It was supposed to be, and in June, they said it's finished. They're just writing the report. Then apparently, they had the opportunity to interview a couple more people. And now they're saying all the way to September.
Wow.
Now, that might be, I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that that's kind of like fake news. That's a leak. And they'll hit us with it on one of these Fridays real soon.
Right.
And so it kind of catches the people off guard.
Off guard, yeah.
To incriminate.
Right.
That's probably a pipe dream.
Huh.
I have noticed as the report comes closer and we get closer to Muller testifying tomorrow in front of Congress, that a lot of people are jumping on the racism bandwagon.
Yeah.
Including Schiff. Remember Shifty Schiff?
Yes.
Who went on, I don't know, 10 shows a day, screaming that the Mueller report was going to give them everything they needed to ultimately throw Trump in jail.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And we got nothing back. But I think we need to backtrack just a little bit and figure out this IG report that's going to incriminate all of these people that were part of this attempted coup. Are we going to see indictments? Because my guess is we're not.
I sure would hope so, but they're calling for Barr to stick with his focus only on Russian collusion, and that pisses me off. That pisses me off.
Yeah, that it really does, because these guys, America is supposedly the strongest country in the world. Are you kidding me? We're going to let somebody get by with an attempted coup? And the Republicans in office, they can do better than that.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I think it's really going to upset a lot of voters.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it's going to do. I know some Democrats, their heads are going to explode, but I don't know. It's a good question.
I think when Mueller testifies tomorrow, what he knows about what's coming in the IG report is going to have a lot of bearing on what he says tomorrow, which means he probably won't say much of anything, because it's going to be so obvious when this IG report comes out that Mueller didn't look to prosecute anybody unless they were on the right.
Right. Yeah, pretty much.
And how is that? Why would a guy that has had a stellar career want to end his stellar career like that?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Other than 10 to 12 million.
Oh yeah, where's the 10 to 12 million?
Yeah,
probably
exactly.
in his bank account already. It was probably in there the day after he left that position. But the racist thing is just going crazy.
Yeah, it is.
And I am so sad that we're sitting here talking about it again. It seems like the last 5 or 6 shows we have had to talk about racism.
Yeah, and it continues here in Canada too. The Liberals are following exactly what the Democrats are doing in the U.S. So anybody that's not a Liberal is a racist. So
exactly. Even if you have a white dog.
Wow.
You're a white supremacist.
Oh.
I have a white dog. I have had 10 black dogs.
Wow.
And now, because I have a white dog, I can be, someone might assume that I'm a white supremacist.
Unreal. That's just over the top. That is ludicrous
It is
thinking.
over the top.
Yeah. Every day we get closer and closer to the predictions of the movie Idiocracy. It just unbelievable. Yeah. We're going to start watering crops with Gatorade soon.
Well, and we're using racism, white supremacist, Nazi. We're using those as weapons.
Yeah, which diminishes the actual meaning of them.
Well, the word racism is losing a lot of power.
Yeah.
I mean, it really, truly is. I mean, and that's sad, because what about the victims? What about the real victims of racism?
Exactly. Yeah.
They're the ones hurt by this.
Yeah, I mean,
the most. Everybody else, it just divides. It's just
calling the borders concentration camps. They are far from it. The Jewish people didn't scramble to come to Germany in order to enter a concentration camp.
Absolutely. And you've got to remember, when people immigrate to anywhere, they are coming on their own free will.
Yeah.
And if you think that before they ever leave their country, they know exactly what to expect.
Exactly.
I mean, the word travels.
Yeah.
Most of them have cell phones anyway. They know they're going to detention. They know there's a fence around it.
Exactly.
They know they're going to be separated from their children for X amount of days.
Yes, they broke the law. Everybody that breaks the law gets separated from their children.
And, this is what you've got to ask people. Can the developed countries accept everyone in that lives in a third world country? Can Canada, the United States, France, Germany, and the UK accept everyone in that lives someplace that's not that great? Of course we cannot.
Right. Yeah, and here in Canada, that doesn't happen unless you're Muslim, while the Trudeau government is in charge. So, yeah, nobody white is coming into Canada. Yeah.
It's a very sad day. It really is. And Sharia law, they had a picture of a little girl online that was raped 7 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, for misbehaving.
Exactly.
And this is acceptable. There is no way we can accept ever Sharia law.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think it is perfectly fine to say that if you want to live by Sharia law, go someplace else.
Yeah, go back to where you came from. I
don't care whether you're an American citizen or not. Sharia law cannot be the law of the land. We have a constitution. Thank you very much. We don't need another one.
Yeah, especially one like that.
Exactly. And, they say it's a peaceful religion. Are you kidding me? It calls Jews evil.
Yeah.
It calls for the destruction of infidels, which is basically white men and Jews. And they're going around calling everyone else racist.
Yeah.
Is there a religion more racist than the religion of the Muslims?
Yeah, and when the left does it, it's not racism.
Exactly.
Got a double standard.
It's just sad. We have reached a point where I fear that there are pockets of anarchy that have broken out, and one of them is in the Muslim communities, where we are turning our heads, or in some instances, endorsing the use of Sharia law. In other places, we are accepting assault on police officers.
Oh.
There is a video out there all over the place where these cops are in Harlem are having buckets of water poured on their head.
Wow.
This took place yesterday, and they don't react to this assault because, for one, they're outnumbered. For two, I understand that if they arrest them, the courts will send them right back out there.
Right.
So basically, you have anarchist rule. Like I said, this is in Harlem, right there in New York City.
Unreal. Wow, I didn't see that yet. Unreal. Yeah. Pour some water on an RCMP officer.
Never happened.
Yeah, pour water on an RCMP officer here, and your ass is going to jail.
Yeah, and where it should go.
Yeah.
And by us not arresting these guys, what message and what's next? What happens next?
Well, I know some of my left friends on Facebook were posting a link yesterday saying that the Los Angeles Police Department had spies in anti-Trump groups. And I'm like, rightly frickin' so. It's a group opposing the President of the United States. You don't think the cops are going to investigate that? Really?
Well, they really should, because
absolutely.
Look at all these Antifa. These guys putting on masks, putting on costumes.
Absolutely. And they need to be.
How else would you get any information? And And if we're not doing that, again, we are basically handing over and becoming a lawless country.
Pretty much, yeah.
Or are we going to let Antifa make the rules and the law, kind of like we're letting Sharia law take place? I think we are. I think we're already doing it.
Basically the same thing's happening in Canada, because we have Antifa here too. And they've gotten off pretty much scot-free every time, and every single time they show up at something, they're violent. So this double standard's got to stop.
It's a lawless America.
I think Ted Cruz, I support him in what he's trying to do and get them branded as a terrorist organization. Absolutely. Yeah. I back what he says.
No, the unfortunate part is I don't know if we can get it done with Congress unless we can do it by executive order, because Congress is, they're not going to vote for it.
Well, it's their tool.
No, I mean, in fact, they pretty much endorse Antifa.
Yeah, exactly. Silently, but they do.
Yeah, I and sometimes not so silently. Someone on Twitter said that Al Sharpton had a role in a lot of this Antifa. I imagine he did. Well, certainly everyone on the left running for office has met for lunch with Al Sharpton. I can't even fathom anyone taking him seriously enough to give a damn what he thinks.
Right.
He's a big joke to me. He's done nothing since I was born but incite violence.
Exactly.
And reverse racism. It's disgusting. It's absolutely despicable. And now you can't even have your cat declawed.
Yeah, that's been happening for a while here in Canada.
Well, apparently it's been happening in San Francisco, LA, and Denver for a while. But now, it's in New York, you will be fined $1,000 if you get your cat declawed.
I'm not sure.
Now, what's that going to do but put more cats out? Because a lot of people want to have them in their house if they have their claws. I mean, I've got a couple of friends that have cats. They're declawed, and they never go outside.
Right. They're saying it's cruel. Well, I
understand that, but isn't it more cruel to have, cats living out without homes?
I guess so. I don't know.
We want a bunch of feral cats out there. Tell you what, cats get a little mean when they're living out feral.
Yeah, well, I got a black cat, so that means I'm not racist.
Good for you. I got a white dog, so apparently I am. I tell you what, all this screaming racism, I mean, people out here in the real world don't do it that often, but these politicians.
Yeah, over the top.
I mean, most people left that back in middle school. Calling people names and putting them in categories.
Yeah.
Is all this going to hurt them at election time? I mean, are the real voters outside of the bubbles, have they matured beyond this crap?
I would hope so.
And how will they view people that we elect to office, pay a decent wage to, pretend that we're electing a professional? How are they going to react at the polls at these people that call each other names?
Yeah, I don't know.
Especially racist.
I don't know. Seems to be okay to call anybody anything you want if you're on the left.
It does. And the right has got to quit letting this happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone needs to step up.
They've also got to, Trump's base has also got to figure out how they're going to gain 15% of the Democratic voters. I mean, we can't just Trump cannot keep just preaching to the base. And his base has got to open up and let other people in.
Right.
And I'm getting really worried that a lot of his base has already bagged him as a winner. And that's very dangerous.
Yeah, ask Hillary.
And you can't, you got to figure out a way to get that 15% of the vote. And that's not counting the independents you've got to pull over.
Right.
But you've got to pull 15% of the actual Democrats.
Yeah, and I do have the same fears here in Canada. For a time there, it was like the Liberals seemed to, fallen way behind. But, they've diluted the news with blowing up anything he does these days, that he's now hired back all the people that quit over the SNC Lavalin affair. So the old band,
so crazy.
Yeah, the old band's back together, and they don't give two fucks. It's a big fuck you to Canada right there.
Oh my gosh, that's very scary.
Yeah, it is. So I know what you mean. I it's a scary time, I think.
Yeah, because if we don't pull 15% of the Democratic vote and probably at least 50% of the independents, you are looking at socialism taking over America. You are looking at electing a socialist, because every one of them is a socialist. A couple of them probably are communists.
Yeah, exactly.
And to think that it can't happen is exactly how it will happen.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed to see that they had women's supporter for Trump, okay, which is a great thing, and they all married in Philadelphia. The funny thing is, though, every woman involved basically lives in the bubble. Now, how is that going to get new women? They were people that live in the bubble and talk to each other all the time anyway.
Yeah, okay. Huh.
How were they going to get new women to vote that way?
I don't know. I think a lot of it may depend on what happens with the Muller thing tomorrow and the IG report whenever it does come out.
I think those are very important.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, what about Jeffrey Epstein? They found his black book.
Oh, good.
I really think it was kind of his phone book. CNBC is making a big deal about it. They're acting like everybody that was in his phone book is a pedophile. I kind of think that that's probably a little extreme. I think he might have had people's phone numbers that did not take part in his pedophilia. And of course, Trump's at the top of that. But I don't think there's been anything that drew Trump to even fly in on his plane.
Right.
But the Clintons, they don't look so good in this mess. Neither does Prince Andrew.
Wow.
Some of the people that appeared in this black book, there's Prince Andrew, Bill Cosby, Woody Allen. Now those guys have been...
Yeah, what a crew.
Long suspicion. I mean, Bill Cosby's in jail.
Yeah.
But Khashoggi, the journalist that was killed in Saudi Arabia, his name was in there. John Kerry, Henry Kissinger, Rupert Murdoch, Fox News.
Huh.
Tony Blair. So you've got Chelsea Clinton. Now, surely she wasn't a part of this. But,
yeah.
So I kind of think that CNBC's kind of making something out of nothing.
Clickbait, yeah.
But there's certainly going to be some people that go down in this.
Rightly so.
If he doesn't make a darn good deal, there's going to be a lot of people go down.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to be on both sides of the aisle. I think there's going to be Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it goes down party lines. If you're a sick individual,
what a sick bastard.
You're a sick individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's about time that we do take down some of the truly sick bastards.
Yeah,
The
for
Me
sure.
Too probably took down some people that weren't all that guilty or sick.
Yeah, did it really?
I think there are a couple of people that maybe had done something marginal in their past, but it was kind of used against them to get them out the door. And they probably had to. For example, Eric Bowling. He showed a picture. You know how people used to have those jokes on paper?
Right.
And you've seen them at work.
Yeah.
I mean, all kinds of nasty stuff, and you just look at it. Well, he lost his job at Fox because he showed some women one of those.
Oh, okay.
Okay? They could take down everybody like that.
Pretty much.
Or at least 75% of the males. Over 40. Let's say over 40. So I think there were some people, but a dude that messes with kids.
Yeah.
That's a different story.
Yeah, that. Yeah.
That's sick. We can't.
It's going to depend how much he talks.
Yeah, and that needs to be the law for everybody, including, Sharia law allows for pedophilia, encourages pedophilia.
Yeah.
So we need to remember that. If you are a politician supporting Sharia law, you must remember.
I'm pretty certain that not one of our listeners supports Sharia law.
I'm pretty sure that's true too.
Yeah.
Except we have some foreign listeners, so I don't know what
we do, but I can't imagine anybody with a head on their shoulders supporting Sharia law. Sorry. No. Nobody wants to live in that type of environment.
That's true, but there are people living on the fringe a little bit. I don't know if you know her, Bella Thorne. She is a actress. I'm not that familiar with her, but she says she's a pansexual, and that did pique my interest. What's a pansexual?
It's a person that has sex with pans.
Well, I kind of thought about Pan from Greek mythology.
Oh yeah, okay.
He's got the upper body, the torso, and the head of a man, and he's got the bottom of it's like a deer, a gazelle, So that's all I could think about was pan. But anyway, a pansexual is somebody that favors personality instead of gender for sexual partners. So that could be a man or a woman. Now what's even more interesting about that is it has its own gender neutral term. So instead of he or she, it would be Z, Z-E, or Zer, Z-I-R.
Okay.
So when you fill out forms, you want to put your little gender neutral term in, I guess, to tell everybody who you like to have sex with.
Anybody. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I mean, when I'm filling out the doctor's form, I'm not really thinking about sex.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you got to wonder, in this society where we're kind of shunning sex, those same people think about nothing but sex. It's kind of like the race card,
Yeah, it's absolutely
the people
bizarre.
that are thinking about it.
Yeah, back when I was in high school, pansexual didn't exist. We just called them sluts. Whether they were male or female. Whether they were male or female, didn't matter. So, same thing going on here. That's not only within your borders, but the gender thing is,
it's getting out of hand. And to me, it's just used to advertise something in a place that doesn't need to be advertised.
Yeah.
I mean, really, because nobody really cares what you are. It's also a little self-centered and narcissistic to think that somebody going through a form when you are filling out your papers gives a damn who you want to sleep with or really what sex you are.
Yeah, exactly.
I really don't think people care that much.
Yeah, and a lot of people
and
are...
if you think they do, you're narcissistic.
A lot of people are going to think that it's a person that has sex with pans.
Exactly. And then they're not going to want to come into your kitchen.
Exactly.
It's going to think it's dirty.
Yeah, did you cook that in a pan?
Okay, Tom Brady is being dad shamed.
Oh, okay.
He was in Costa Rica vacationing with his family, and he took hold of his daughter's hand and jumped off the cliff with her. And there are people that are going nuts. Now, I wouldn't do that with one of my kids, and I think there's some danger involved. But I also think that we need to let parents make a call. I mean, there are much worse things happening to children, and we're not doing a damn thing about it.
Yeah.
Last week, they arrested some people in Florida that threw their kids out to teach them to swim.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me tell you, pretty much everybody I know, that's how they were taught how to swim. I wouldn't do it with my kids. I think it's wrong. I don't think you should be locked up in jail and your kids should be sent to CPS and foster homes.
Over cliff diving?
Because you did it.
Or swimming?
Over throwing them out to swim.
Well, like they were going to let them drown. Seriously?
Yeah, I mean, how many kids have drowned because of that? I mean, could they be somewhat traumatized? Yes, but I mean, kids are traumatized from vaccinations. I mean, as a child, you can be traumatized by silly things,
Well, here on the island,
it's just so much worse.
Here on the island, like the river has large cliffs and rocks, and most of the lakes do too. So cliff diving here is just a norm. It's what you do when you're 6 years old. So I don't see anything wrong with that at all. As long as the parents are there and watching what they're doing, and you got to make sure they're not jumping on rocks and they're jumping in a deep spot. But it's kind of the way of life here. So,
and I mean, if anyone is superhuman enough to save his daughter, it's probably Tom Brady. Let's face it.
Exactly.
So I don't think he's going to let his daughter get hurt. And I don't think these parents that were trying to teach their kids to swim, they were, in their minds, they were doing that to keep their kid from drowning someday when they're not around.
Exactly.
That's what was going on. I know when my dad threw me out of the boat, and the Hammer said the same thing happened to him. It was so that later on, I wouldn't drown.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Tom needs to give
harsh? Yes.
Tom needs to give the big finger to those people.
Yeah. But speaking of Costa Rica and the Dominican Republic, I guess you just can't drink alcohol in other places. There is just oodles of people dead from drinking tainted alcohol at their hotel rooms.
Oh, jeez.
This alcohol has been laced with methane to make it go longer. Methane is cheaper.
Right.
And put in the bottles. I think this is a killer. This is very sad to me because these are very cheap places to move when you get old. And vacation, beautiful places. But gosh, I got to be able to drink alcohol on vacation.
Yeah, that's really disturbing.
What kind of vacation is it when you don't drink alcohol?
Well, are they going to charge anybody with this, or can they even know who's done this?
I don't know, but they better, or I tell you what, it is going to kill the tourist industry.
Absolutely.
I mean, it really is already. Especially for the Dominican, but this came out now in Costa Rica, because I thought, well, at least we have Costa Rica. I'll be damned.
Yeah.
That's happening there.
I guess it's time to stick to bottled beer if you're going to Dominican Republic.
It's not cheap there.
Yeah. I agree there.
Yeah, we don't always agree, but life's a journey. We're all in this together. Thanks for listening. Godspeed, Connor. Godspeed to all of our friends out there.
Godspeed, Grace, and thanks for listening, everyone.